Hello, and welcome to Melbourne. And if you do not know this game, it is City Skylines, developed by Paradox. This is a city simulator, and you can basically build a wide range of different type of cities that you want. It is quite sophisticated. You can build pretty complicated cities, especially with mods. It is a very powerful game or simulator, whichever one that you use with it. For me, it is probably more of a game than a simulator, but I think you can definitely use it as a city simulator if you build it properly. So today I built a sort of replica of Melbourne, Australia, and if you do not know, Melbourne is about the second largest city in Australia, and today I'm going to build a replica of it. So in front of us you can see we have Flinders Street Station, which is one of the most famous train station and a landmark in Melbourne. And right next to it is the Yarra River, and that is sort of a boundary that separates the city and the southern side of the city, where you can see all these beautiful buildings. This part is the art precinct. You got the art museum, and obviously we don't have the replica of those buildings on City Skylines, but this part is the South Bank, which is a beautiful part of Melbourne. I have spent in this, I have lived in this city for about 4 years, so yeah, I do enjoy walking down South Bank from time to time. It is a little bit more quiet than the northern part of the city. So here's to show you what I've done with South Bank. Obviously the buildings are not the same, but they are just what I can find on the assets on the workshop, which you can basically download a whole lot of different kinds of buildings. So yeah, I have spent probably about, I would say maybe 3-4 weeks on this city, and unfortunately, I built this city before the Sunset Harbor DLC came out, or is it DLC or just a new update? It's not a DLC probably. Um, but yeah, so basically after the update, I couldn't open up this save game anymore. So I've actually lost access to this game. So this is a little bit of a probably a how much towards the city that I've built. I've spent a lot of time trying to replicate the streets, and yeah, I have built actually quite a bit on this city. As you can see, we went basically all the way up north to Melbourne University, and then on the western side we built parts of the Docklands, and then on the western side we built somewhere up to Richmond. So we have yeah, been building quite a bit on the, especially on the northern side. On the southern side, I've only built the south bank. So basically, what you saw on the start of the video, we have the all the tall buildings along the south bank. That's where all the expensive, rich apartments are located, and also where very fancy businesses like Crown Casino. They are all located on the South Bank. I'm bringing you around my city, and I'm going to show you what I've done with the University of Melbourne. This is not very exact to obviously real life. I've just done what I can with this city like assets that I have. So I've just randomly placed them around. Obviously they are not going to be an exact replica, but yeah, I think I did sort of alright. There's definitely a lot more beautification that can go into it, but I did not spend that much time doing that. I'm mostly just like trying to work out like the streets and building the public transport, and also yeah, just like making sure that everything works fine. You may be able to tell, but this is obviously not like a one-to-one scale, so there may be a few missing streets here and there, especially like side streets. Right now I'm showing you Melbourne Airport, which is on the northwestern side of Melbourne. You can see that I've just randomly placed them like nearly at the very end of the map. I didn't build the residentials or commercials or industrials all the way out there. I just like place a motorway that goes out that way. So you can see we have Tullamarine Airport, which is the international airport. Right, sort of in the middle of the city, we have this what they call the Melbourne Gaol, which is an old prison that is built in the middle of the city, which is not in use right now, but it is an old prison. So I've built some prison systems right here in the middle of the city, and it is fully working here in City Skylines. So it has been used to house quite a few prisoners around here, which is good because we do need a few prisons here and there. And we have some road, custom roads that is built by someone. I can't remember who, but you can definitely find it out on the Steam workshop. So there's like fences and stuff, but I obviously didn't like use the gates and stuff, like those custom assets to block off the road, which is a lot more sophisticated than what I usually build. And as for the motorway, you can see that I have built quite an extensive network of motorways. It is quite sophisticated as well. I have used Anarchy to achieve this. So I've built the Westgate motorway. I've built this, the one that cuts along the sports stadium area, which goes to the southeastern suburbs. Yes, and they go through, I think, like the MCG. I can't exactly remember, but yes, they do go the southeastern side. There is a motorway that goes to the south. I mean the northern eastern side, which you may have seen on some previous clips. But yeah, here you can see I have the Westgate motorway, which is quite sophisticated. I have like two different motorways going the same direction, but one of the motorway roads can exit into the Westgate bridge that goes to the motorway, not to the motorway, to the airport. And then I've basically built a toll at the Tullamarine freeway. So which is kind of similar in real life. There is a tollway leading to the airport. So I've built that just sort of in the middle of the motorway. And I did talk about the public transport systems. And yes, I have built quite an extensive amount of public transport. And if you do not know, Melbourne is pretty famous for its public transport. Um, One of the most famous modes of transportation in Melbourne is the trams. I'm not sure if you have seen it, but yeah, there is a lot of different trams that runs not only on the inner city of Melbourne, but out on the suburbs as well. They do go quite far out. I'm not sure what's the furthest one, but I live on the eastern suburbs. So the longest one that I know of is the one that goes all the way to Box Hill. But there may be longer ones that goes maybe to like the northern, southern or western side of Melbourne. But I did not do research on that, so I'm not too sure. But yeah, I mean, like if you have been to Melbourne or you have seen pictures, you definitely would know that trams are a pretty big public transport systems integrated in Melbourne. And obviously they have trains, they have underground trains. I didn't use the mod that integrates the trains and the subway. On City Skyline, it is different. You have the subway and then you have the trains. But in real life, in Melbourne, they are integrated. So the trains that run above ground, they do go underground. But I do not have the mods to do that. So what I did is because there is a city loop that's called a city loop, which runs underground in the city. It goes basically in a loop, so like a circle, and the stops are starting from Flinders Street to Southern Cross to Parliament, and then to like Melbourne Central. I believe they are also building a few different new stations. So in a few years, there will be a few more new train stations in the inner city of Melbourne. They are also, I believe, building the underground system further out to St Kilda. So just like not really St Kilda, it's like near Shrine of Remembrance, which is close to St Kilda but not really, so it's like halfway. And yeah, so they are still building that, and obviously I am not exactly sure where the stops are going to be, so I didn't like take that into account. So here is a closer look on the suburb of Richmond. Right now we are looking at East Richmond. So this is an underground station, but in real life it's not an underground station. It is sort of underground, but it's not covered. So they have dig a hole to allow the trains to run just slightly underneath the street level, but it is not covered, and I couldn't find a asset that can do that, so I used this underground metro station or train station, which sort of replicates the underground ish of the train system. So right now you're looking at the Airport Express, which is a bus systems that runs from the city Southern Cross stations all the way to the airport to the Marine. I've built another line that goes from Richmond all the way to the airport as well. In real life, I do not believe they run from Richmond, but I didn't want people to like go all the way from Richmond and have to go to like to Southern Cross and then change to the buses. So I did two different lines. But yes, in real life, they only run the Airport Express from Southern Cross, and it is only a bus system that runs between the airport and Southern Cross station. They do run in pretty close frequency, I would say maybe 15 to 30 minutes. Unfortunately, they do not have any sort of like train trams. Um, I think they were talking about it, but yeah, it is still sort of a hot topic. So it is probably work in progress. But yeah, it is currently not being built just yet. So yeah, they are still relying on buses, which is what I have installed over here. And right here you see this, I can't remember what the exact name is on City Skylines. This sort of like, the Zururat Gardens, like a pyramid garden thing. Obviously, in real life, that's not what it's there. In real life, this space is the Federation Square. It is pretty quirky. It's very artsy. I have been inside a few times. I do enjoy being there. They have this place inside the building called the ACMI, which is a sort of like moving image gallery museum kind of thing. So it's very cool. If you do go to Melbourne, you definitely should go in and check it out. And here are some shots of like traffic. It is pretty busy. You can see that because it's a grid system, we do need a lot of traffic lights. We have trams, we have just traffic coming everywhere. So we definitely need traffic lights. We cannot build like roundabouts, which in real life is not roundabout. So and you also saw a few trams, which is a replica of the real Melbourne trams. These are the more modern versions. There are also older versions of trams, which I think is also on the assets. You may spot them somewhere. So after unlocking the Horden Collider, which provides education for all the Sims, there is no need for the University of Melbourne anymore because the Horden Collider basically replace all of the education needs. Well, I mean up to a certain level, but we do not have that many citizens. So the Horden Collider could tackle with all the education needs. So there wasn't a need for all the buildings for like high school, elementary, and also the University of Melbourne. So what I did is I actually demolished all of the buildings on University of Melbourne. And I was thinking like what I can do with the space. I was thinking maybe I can turn it into a park or something else, or maybe like office, or I wasn't sure. But obviously I have lost the save game. I couldn't load it, so I don't have to think about it now. But this is what I did. I just like demolish all the buildings, as you can see, and that is what is happening. So thank you very much for watching my short little video on my build of Melbourne, Australia. I don't know which one is the right one. I mean, I have lived there, but I still cannot pronounce it correctly. But you know what I'm saying. But yeah, just thank you for watching if you have made it this far. And I'm going to queue up some awesome music with some more videos of parts of the city that I have shot. So enjoy the rest of the video, and I hope you really enjoy this little I wouldn't say short, but this long-ish, big-ish, short, small-ish. I don't know what it is, but yeah, this build that I've done of Melbourne, and yeah, I hope you really enjoy this, and I'll maybe see you on the next video. If you enjoy it, definitely feel free to give me that thumbs up button. That will be very much appreciated. And if you have any questions, any suggestions, any feedback, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I do read every one of the comments, and I'll try to help out anyone who have questions. Obviously, I don't know all the answers to the questions, but I'll try my best. And yeah, if you're new to my channel, feel free to subscribe as well. I do post not a lot of City Skylines videos, but mostly of flight sims and stuff. Given that it is locked down, I couldn't do like much of like travel videos and stuff. But if you enjoy like flight sim content, there's a lot of that on my playlist called Explain 11, so definitely go check that out. But yeah, enjoy the rest of the video, and I'll hopefully see you all on any of my other videos or my upcoming videos.